Source Podcast.
All right. Hello, everyone. We are back in episode 39. This episode is actually a continuation of my previous episode about the difference between psychopaths and sociopaths. The last episode covered majority of what a psychopath is and the characteristics and like certain murderers and stuff like that who fit that description. So today we're just going to do a quick reminder and overview of what psychopath is, and then we'll jump right into sociopaths. Okay. Alrighty. All right, let's see. Let's see. The term sociopath is generally used by the public to define a unscrupulous person, while the term psychopath is used to describe a psychopathic person who is more dangerous, such as serial killers. So, you think about those murder mysteries or like the crime shows and stuff like that. People always use the word psychopath, like kind of freely, because that's what they describe, people who go on murder sprees or like have some like mental craziness where they're just, crazy violent and stuff like that. So there's actually like differences between the two, like in my last episode that I was talking about. So it says here that clinically speaking, a sociopath and a psychopath are individuals who exhibit the characteristics of antisocial personality disorder, ASPD. And they basically ignore the rights and feelings of others. So just a little recap. Even though both terms are used interchangeably, there's actually different features and characteristics of both. So just a little catch up. Psychopath. What is psychopathy? So for psychopaths, it's a disorder characterized by maladaptive personality traits. This is a neuropsychiatric disorder. There we go. That results in inadequate emotional reactions, lack of empathy, a weak behavior control, antisocial deviances, and criminal behaviors. So, so basically, kind of like what I pointed out in the last episode, is some people say that psychopaths are born and sociopaths are made, because it has been proven in lots of what do you call it?
Case studies?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Case studies that people who are initially diagnosed as a psychopath, there is actually a physical difference in their brains and how they fire and how they work. So it's usually...
So their brain just look like that?
Yeah, like they would show a psychopath's brain with a normal person's brain, and you can see the difference of which part of the brain works and lights up.
Ooh.
So yeah, psychopaths' brains are physically different from normal societies. So, let's see. And yes, psychopaths are responsible for a substantial amount of the crimes committed. Their manipulative interpersonal styles have a largely destructive impact on an individual's life, job, and relationships. So they're just very manipulative, very charming, and they don't care about anybody else's feelings but their own. But really, they kind of don't have their own feelings in a way, because their brain just can't comprehend it. In a way, because they're missing those neurons, parts of their brains that would control emotions and stuff like that. Let's see. Oh, yes. They also have egocentric personalities that are characterized by not feeling remorse for one's actions, a lack of empathy, and the presence of tendencies towards crime. However, they do think that genetics and environmental factors and the experiences that the person endures could play a part in the occurrence of psychopathy. So
it's not just all genetic, they're saying.
Yeah, it's not always all genetic, and I think that's why people always get confused of between psychopath and a sociopath, because they're so similar that they just use it interchangeably. Because there's the nurture versus nature type
Yeah.
thing. So yeah, there's the argument goes back and forth because they're just so similar in ways. Okay, so let's switch it up to to a sociopath. It is also known as an antisocial personality disorder, which are people who are not capable, of differentiating emotions. So I always wondered, like, I mean, like, what would you guys think? Would you think it's more of a nature thing or of a nurture thing?
I don't know. This is like one of those questions that they ask in my in my undergrad classes, like, because that's a debate. That's a debatable thing.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what it is. It's more like what your opinion is of it. So there's not like a straight thing on it. I think that it's possible to dip in both. Like, it's not just all one thing, because there could be people that are well, like, not both, but like there might be a psychopath and like their brain waves or like their neurons are misfiring, and like that's what makes them a psychopath, but then they never had any like murderous tendencies because they actually sought professional help. And so like that helped them subside that part of them. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. Me, I would say like I think it's a twofold thing. It's not a black and white thing for nature versus nurture.
Oh, yeah.
For me personally.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I believe in both parts of nature and nurture do both play a part, because I do believe that some kids are born psychopaths.
You say they evil?
Yeah, I would say that they're evil because I've read cases and I've seen clinical shows and stuff that would talk about certain cases, and like literally their child has no feelings whatsoever. Like one, I remember watching, like the daughter is always continuously hurting her little brother, like all the time. But the parents would always make excuses for her because it's their child or whatever, whatnot. But when they would talk to the girl, because she did something and put her brother in the hospital, so they had their psychologist come and talk to the girl, and he's all asking her like, why did you hurt your brother the way that you did? And she was like, because he had something that I wanted, and I was just going to take it from him no matter what. But she did it like in a very extreme way,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And apparently she's been doing that for like ever.
Oh my God.
So kids who do that and just did not have like no comprehension that that's not right or it's not good. So I do believe some people are born without that sense, and it's like those people or those kids should be admitted and like put away.
That 8-year-old serial killer.
Oh,
Yeah.
the one that you talked about. Yeah.
Where like I think when they were, is it not interview, but like what do you call it?
Interrogation.
Yeah. That child was just literally like sitting there. He's like, before I tell you anything, can I at least have like milk and cookies first?
Oh wow.
Like,
no remorse.
No remorse.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's scary.
Yeah. So people who don't believe that kids can be psycho, it's like, no, they can be psycho because they were just born with it. Like they were.
Something's not connecting.
Yeah,
there.
it's like something's not connecting, something's not right,
Yeah.
something's missing. I think they made a movie like that too, long time ago with Macaulay Culkin. I think it's called like The Son or something like that. But Macaulay Culkin plays the psychopathic son, either psychopath or sociopath, whichever one. And he would make all these like bad things happen and end up blaming the other kid. I don't know if the other boy was an actual blood brother or if it was a half brother or whatever. But yeah, he would be like super psycho and like try to kill his mom, but then try to blame it on the other brother type of thing. And I remember at the end of the movie, somehow both of the boys were hanging off of a cliff, right? Because I think Macaulay's character was trying to kill kill the main character. So they're both hanging off a cliff. The mom comes and she's holding onto both of them.
Yeah.
And then while the brother was over here like freaking out, screaming, crying like, mom, pull me up. Oh my God. Because, you know, you're hanging off the side of a cliff. So you're freaking out. He's over here all calm, holding on to his mom. And he's like, mom, I'm right here. You know, I love you. Pull me up. You know, it's like, yeah, you know I love you. I love you more than so-and-so. Da-da-da.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was very manipulative, very, like, cutesy and stuff like that. And then the mom's, like, looking at him, like, finally realizing that he's not all there. Yeah, so when she finally realized that and how evil he was, she let him fall off the cliff.
Oh my God. I don't know if I would ever be able to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I forget. Yeah, I'm not sure what the movie's called, but yes, I do remember that. So she saves the other kid and lets that one fall off the cliff because everybody's lives would be much better if he wasn't there, apparently.
Like,
So
you're saying they're hanging off the cliff and then they're both like, Mom, it reminded me of Duplicate.
what?
The Bollywood movie Duplicate where Shah Rukh Khan is his twin and then like a doppelganger because they're saying mom too, like it's me mom, it's me. Manu, I'm Bablu. Manu, I'm Bablu.
Oh my God, okay, yeah, I remember that.
Because they're both trying to say it's me because they remember they rolled all over in flour or whatever.
Yeah, and they're
And then
all like pulling her.
Yeah.
Oh, was it their mom or was it the girlfriend?
It was their
It's
mom.
the
At
mom.
Oh, see, I never really watched that.
the end. Yeah, it was at
Oh,
the
you
end.
watched
Yeah.
at the end.
Oh.
Manu, I'm Bablu. And they're both be like, Ma, it's me. No, Ma, it's me. And
So how did she choose?
he knew, like,
She
the mom
knew.
knew which one was the real son because, oh, go ahead, Molly, what were you going to
Oh no.
Oh.
you go.
say? Because she screamed out in pain and then the real son let go.
Oh.
Because she
Yeah.
was like, oh.
Oh yeah, because they were pulling her.
They're
back
pulling
and forth.
her back and forth.
Yeah.
And because they were like, no, Ma, come here. Ma, come here. And then the real one, which is Manu the bad guy? And
Manu's the bad guy.
Bad guy. And then Bablu's
Blah blah.
blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Manu's the bad guy and Bablu is the son.
Yeah.
So Bablu let go because he saw she was crying in pain. So he let go. And then Manu was like, see, Mom, I told you it was me all along. And she went, you're not my son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, again, psychopath, sociopath right there. He had no concern about his mom's well-being.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. And it's just because you were saying like both of them are like, Mom, help me. And I'm like, Manu, Bablu. All my Bollywood fans out there.
Yeah, so that's another example of a sociopath slash
Oh my
psychopath
gosh.
not having any emotional attachment or any
Oof.
care of the other person's well-being. It's all about them.
It's scary.
It is. It's super scary. So, let's see. Going back. Okay, so some characteristics of sociopaths are failure to comply with the law and breaking social rules, deceiving, swindling for personal gain, using fake identities or nicknames, being incapable of making long-term plans. So failure to see the pros and cons of their actions, offensive or aggressive behaviors, not taking his own safety or others' safety into consideration, failure to fulfill personal or professional responsibilities, not feeling guilt or remorse. They don't feel guilty if they harm somebody. And they generally have an arrogant disposition. So like I said, sociopaths and psychopaths have very similar characteristics. So let's see here. They have a little graph here that kind of shows what the slight difference is. So for sociopaths, here's an example. They clearly show that they don't care about the feelings of others, while psychopaths, they act like they care about their feelings, but really they don't. So another one, for sociopaths, usually act impulsively and aggressively. And for psychopaths, they act in a cold-blooded manner. So I guess it's more of like a planned thing.
For psychopaths?
Yeah, for psychopaths.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like sociopaths, they really don't know.
Yeah,
where psychopaths are really psycho. Like,
they know what they're doing.
It was like premeditated.
Premeditated.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
so
god.
Yeah, it sounds like they just know. So sociopaths are very angry or have angry or violent dispositions. And then for psychopaths, they usually don't notice the stress.
Felt?
Oh, there you go. Felt by others. Okay, yeah. Sociopaths rationalize the behaviors of others, while psychopaths usually don't even... I'm sorry. I read the wrong one. Okay. Sociopaths rationalize the behaviors of others, while psychopaths, they have superficial, empty, fake relationships. Okay, so they're basically empty inside. Sociopaths fail to sustain personal and professional lives, while psychopaths lead a normal life to cover up their criminal activities.
Oh.
So, let's see. And then sociopaths, they can establish emotional bonds, though it's difficult for them. Psychopaths cannot establish real emotional bonds, but they can love people by their own methods. That's kind of scary. How they would love you through their own methods.
I feel like that would be a lot of like it would be very conditional, like personal gain.
Oh yeah.
That's why I love you. It's because it's a personal gain somehow.
You do this for me, and that's why I love you. And once you no longer do that to me, you are disposable.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like to me. Or maybe that person just kind of like Harley Quinn and like the Joker, they kind of just like use each other a little bit.
Yeah.
And so therefore they think it's a form of love.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
That story is sad.
Yeah. So let's see here. So for the term psycho, is generally used to tease somebody by associating them with a mental disorder. But apparently the term psycho does not exist in neurology or psychiatry. It always requires some special explanations. The thin lines between these disorders cannot be distinguished from one another, and they are usually used in the wrong context due to lack of information in the public.
That's right.
It is true, because, I'm sure we've all said it to somebody. It's like, you psycho, and stuff like that.
I don't say that. I just say, you crazy ass bitch.
Let's see. Yeah, pretty much. It sounds like sociopaths are very in the moment impulsive. Like they don't think about anything.
They're like oblivious to how they are. It seems like to me, after you read that, that's what I took it as. Like they're oblivious to it.
Yeah.
And they're all worried about themselves, so they're not gonna be like worried about how other people think about it.
Yeah. Is this they don't sound as manipulative as psychopaths, because apparently psychopaths, they pretend to care, but really they're just doing that to get something out of you or to control you, type of thing. So it's like, it kind of reminds me of like narcissistic behaviors.
Yeah.
So I always wonder if it's like one and the same, or if like narcissistic
It
is
must
more.
be like it must fall under the umbrella of antisocial disorders, or is it what is it? Antisocial personality disorder.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if it falls under that umbrella, but I don't know, because narcissists, I don't know if they're actually like considered an antisocial personality though. Maybe they fall under the same thing.
Yeah. I feel like narcissism is probably like, maybe like a characteristic of it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I could always look it up here in a bit. So,
well, I mean, when I did my undergrad, there was an actual book that psychologists, or I should say licensed therapists, that they use to diagnose people, and it's called the DSM-5. Have you guys ever heard of that book?
I did read about it here.
Yeah, so the DSM-5 is actually what people use to diagnose people. And basically it's a book of diagnosis and or different types of like mental health illnesses, and then they go off and they look at what the symptoms are, and then they kind of like connect to see if it is. But it's not that easy because obviously, you know, diagnosing someone is hard.
It is hard,
Yeah.
you know, because it says, from what I gathered, is like you said, the diagnostic and what would you say yours was?
The DSM-5 is the most recent one. It's the 5th edition.
Okay, so the 5th
Yeah.
edition. So the DSM, it means the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So DSM volume or 5, yeah. It classifies APD by a range of personality and behavioral traits that describe how a person functions, how they relate to others, and how those beliefs express themselves by actions. So let's see. The examples of those. So let's see. Self-functioning characteristics are those that reflect what a person is like and how that person views his or her actions or goals. In order to be diagnosed with APD, you must exhibit all of the following characteristics. So you attain self-esteem from power, personal gain, or pleasure. Wow. Okay. So for you to make yourself feel better?
So I'm guessing that it sounds like that's what one of the characteristics that they have to have.
Yes.
They consider to have an anti-social personality disorder.
Yeah. So gaining self-esteem from power, personal gain, or pleasure. Egocentricity or self-centeredness. Setting goals based on personal gratification with little regard to law or ethics. So now on to interpersonal characteristics. It is those that describe how a person interacts with others in general. So the traits would be a lack of empathy for others suffering or hurt, or when confronted with the hurt or anger of people they have manipulated. And also the inability to have a truly mutual, emotional, intimate relationship because of the instinct to control by dominance or intimidation, coerce or deceive. Let's see. And then for behavioral characteristics, this completes the clinical diagnosis by describing the route a person will take to either control, coerce, or deceive, such as a strong tendency to disregard commitments, promises, and agreements, including financial ones. Let's see. Difficulty in making plans, preferring to believe you're able to nimbly navigate problems as they appear. It is not uncommon for someone with APD to be in repeated fights or assaults. Lying as a means to gain social entry or advantage, such as proclaiming yourself a decorated war hero when you have never served. Wow. Okay. Making decisions on the spur of the moment with little regard to consequence if an immediate goal is to be achieved. Okay. Yeah. Persistent anger or irritability over small things. Reacting with callousness, aggression, remorselessness, or even sadism when confronted by the fallout of your actions. Risk-taking, easily bored. They can easily ignore personal boundaries and justify even the most outrageous of their actions. And, of course, emotional manipulation of others. For an example, pretending to be interested in someone simply to achieve a goal.
Damn, that's really Delulu.
That is very Delulu. It's like...
It's a salulu.
It's Delulu. Yeah, so it's... Yeah, these people who have it... seem to really need some help
They
and
need
stuff.
professional help, but they're not gonna seek it out, because if you've read that, they probably don't even think that they'll need help.
No, they probably
So-
don't feel like there's nothing wrong with them. Like this is how they are. This is how the rest of the world is. I'm just doing what I need to get by or to get what I want, type of thing.
Damn.
So it's very dangerous, you know. Like who did we talk about the last episode? Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and then we also talked about Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy,
Yeah.
because Jeffrey Dahmer's not technically either of those.
Yeah, he's technically not either of those. But Ted Bundy, he's
For sure.
yeah.
He would be considered a
I think
psychopath.
psycho.
Yeah, I think he's a
Because he
psychopath.
manipulate and pretend
Mm-hmm.
to like or have an interest in people.
Yes, and he was
And
also
it's-
very charming.
Premeditated.
Yeah.
Some of his stuff is premeditated.
Yes. So, let's see. People will always ask about treatment. How to treat psycho or sociopathy. APD has no cure or first line recommended treatment. Instead, therapeutic strategies often focus on problematic behavior, coping skills, and comorbidities such as substance use disorders. So typical approaches include like talk therapy, whether it's individual or groups, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is kind of like it's kind of like talk therapy.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think it's just they actually like use ways to help you develop coping skills. Because talk
Yeah.
therapy is just talk therapy.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Talk only. Yeah.
Okay. Mentalization based therapy, democratic therapy, democratic therapeutic community.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and then impulsive lifestyle counseling. And then also medications like antidepressants, antipsychotics, and mood stabilizers. So, yeah, it's a condition that's not curable, but it can be managed, is what it looks like. And that is if they are admitted quick enough to where they can get these treatments, and or if they actually realize that something's wrong with them, which is more likely for like sociopaths, I think.
Yeah, because they're more oblivious to it based on what you said.
Whereas sociopaths, they know what they're doing.
You mean psychopaths? They know what they're doing?
Oh, sorry, psychopaths. Yes. But but yeah. So
Damn. That's crazy.
yeah, it's
To
kind of
me.
it's kind of scary thinking, knowing that there's people out there who are suffering from APD like that.
And then when they talk about comorbidities and stuff, I think it's because like they probably feel like there's an empty void and they're filling it with like substance abuse or alcohol abuse or finding other ways to fill that void
Yeah.
that they have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like it says here, substance use disorders and whatnot. So, let me see here. Let's see. Oh, they say for psychotherapy, it is challenging and not very successful for the people traditionally labeled as sociopaths and psychopaths, mainly because they don't they don't recognize the need to change their behavior and the lack of other interpersonal skills. Can you imagine being the psychiatrist or the therapist that's working with one?
It'll be hard. They have to have a lot of experience. Were you going to say something?
Oh, I was gonna be like, I'm pretty sure there's one point where they're kind of like, I can't help this person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know what to do. I can't help this person. Like that person's far gone.
I don't know if it's like far gone. I just know that like when usually therapists, if they're dealt with a situation where if they know that they can no longer help their client,
Don't they refer them to somebody else?
they're
usually?
supposed to. So they're not they're not doing anything
Yeah.
detrimental to that client.
Right.
They're supposed to refer them.
Yeah, but like just a thought in their head, like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my God, like I can't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
That's why when therapists they take on clients, they do have like a preference of the population that they can choose from. So if someone only wants to work with like adults, they can, or if they, and like no kids, that they can do that. So
I think it would be, very scary and intimidating to be a therapist or psychiatrist who is treating a child. Because, I don't know, I think that kind of just goes back to, like, our fears episodes and how
Chucky?
and how I don't like dolls and stuff like that. So, to me, imagining being a therapist and treating a child to do that, it would just scare me because it's like one of my fears coming true almost. So.
well, in therapy, like, you're supposed to kind of learn, like, it's kind of like when how people have like their racial bias or their prejudices. They're supposed to, like, towards a certain population. Someone who is a professional therapist and they take it seriously, they're supposed to identify those things, and then they're supposed to figure out a way how to not let it cloud their judgment, so they can help their client the right way. So, like in your case, where you would be afraid of, like helping someone that is a child and they do have an antisocial personality disorder like this, it would be like you would have to have already done some work, because eventually you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
And so it would be like you've got all these tools, so you're good and you know how to like handle it. And I mean, you'd be surprised to see that actually therapists have their own therapists too. So, like, after that, then like you would go to your therapist and you would talk too. So
to like decompress.
Oh yeah.
And de-stress and stuff. Oh yeah, I can only imagine, because like you said, like when you said talking about Harley Quinn and Joker, it's like Harley Quinn was his psychiatrist.
Yeah.
and then
He got to her.
And he got to her. So it's just kind of like, oh my God. So yeah, I would be afraid of that. So let's see. Oh, here's a frequently asked question. How I mentioned about narcissism. It says here someone asked, is narcissism a symptom of sociopathy? Narcissism is an overinflated view of one's importance. Is a common symptom of sociopathy, but not all narcissistic people are sociopaths.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so there's no formal test for sociopathy, but a variety of screening tools are available online. And someone asked, can sociopaths cry? And yes, a sociopath can cry. However, they don't display tears of empathy. If a sociopath cries, they are either crying out of their own distress or as a manipulation tactic.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just thinking.
She said you are.
No, I just think like in our Hmong community, we have like our elders or / parents that like they kind of act a certain way, and you just think like, why do you do this? It's not rational. And so that makes me wonder, like, damn, are you guys a sociopath? Because you guys are so, like, some parents are so manipulative, or some elders are so manipulative, and you're kind of like, I think you have an antisocial personality disorder because of the way that you do things, So it just made me think of that, like how some of our Hmong elders, like, wonder if that's what they have. Because, I mean, the most obvious thing is they are a trauma survivor.
Yes.
So that's why I'm kind of like, are y'all also a sociopath because of that?
Yeah, I think they could be, because...
Yeah, that goes back to like your nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Where...
the environment that they grew up in made them
like
what
that.
they are. So, and it's something that would be really difficult to therapy out of a person,
It would have to take the person. That's why I'm like, I wonder if a Hmong parent that is the generation that came over during the war and they immigrated here to the United States, if any of them had sought professional help. And if you have, and you're listening to this podcast, like, feel free to share, because I'm just kind of curious if you guys ever try to treat the trauma that you had experienced, and if you're able to acknowledge any type of difficulties, or maybe if you had any sociopathic tendencies or anything like that.
I don't know. I just feel like they didn't have the knowledge or resources for that.
I don't know. I mean, there's different, like elders or aunties or uncles that are probably around that age that they probably did go seek professional help. It's probably few, but I'm just kind of curious.
If anybody has any experience with it, whether yourself or family members, we would love to hear how they did it and what happened to them and stuff. Let me see what else.
I was gonna ask you, Michelle, now that you've done psychopaths or covered psychopaths and sociopaths, with this information, I know you were just kind of like curious, but now that you've reviewed it, like, what do you think, and what are you gonna take with this information?
It'll definitely help me pick out, since I like to people watch and stuff like that, and it will help me pick out someone who has issues and stuff like that. Because I know they're very manipulative, and I know sometimes people say certain things and you're just kind of like, what? Excuse me? And you just kind of think like, okay, something's wrong with this person mentally, so I'm just gonna
keep my distance.
Yeah, keep my distance a little bit, type of thing. So knowing this stuff, I think could help keep a certain person like safe and stuff like that. Like you said, I just did it out of curiosity what the difference is, because they're both antisocial personality disorders. So it's just kind of like, what's the difference? I think what sparked my interest in it was I was on TikTok one time, and I was just kind of scrolling through my For You page, and this this woman came up on my page, and she was talking about how she has antisocial personality disorder, yet she has a daughter, but she's able to take care of the daughter. She knows she loves the daughter, but she can't like express it or stuff like that, but yet she's able to take care of her daughter, raise her, and stuff like that. And so I can't find it now, but she has her TikTok that focuses on her disorder and how she goes through life normally. As a person with ADP. So I always wondered, like for sociopaths, obviously they could live a normal life if they recognize that they need help, like she did. So whereas psychopaths probably just won't, unless they're like forcibly admitted, or they were admitted when they were young, type of thing. So but I just thought it was interesting when I came across that TikTok, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, because like I remember her saying like she doesn't feel like the happiness that like mothers would about their child, but she knows that she needs to be taken care of. Type of thing, So it was just very intriguing to me. So that's why I looked it up.
Well, that's good that she's seeking professional help. So.
But I think that's pretty much it for my psychopath versus sociopath. There's not really much else to it, to be honest.
Have any questions for us?
For you guys?
And what we thought about your topic or anything?
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the topic? Or have you guys come across somebody that you thought was like borderline sociopath, psychopath?
Yes.
Or
people be crazy out there, man.
Yeah. Or
this is like the answer is yes.
Yeah. Or like maybe saw a video or a movie or something about one of these disorders.
This reminds me of when didn't you pick up some random person?
Oh my God, yes.
And you are so lucky that.
I know. I don't know why I did it, but yes, I did. I picked up a random person at church because she needed a ride. So basically, I gave her. Well, people make fun of me, and they're like, "You basically gave a hoe a ride back to her pimp," and I was like, "I guess."
I mean, that's different to me. That's like being nice.
Yeah, like I
give
did
them a ride to their job.
Yeah, because she needed a ride, which I think it was just like down the street because I think she was like lost or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so she needed a ride. And for some reason that day, maybe it was just really early in the morning, but that day I couldn't lie to save my life for some weird ass reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay. So yeah, I took her.
She wrote a persuasion check roll and she won. She got a nat 20 and you failed.
So yeah, I took her, and so the whole time I took her, when I drove down there, I was just like, God, this is my time. I guess it's my time.
Oh my god.
If I go, please do not. Hopefully, doesn't hurt too much.
Oh my God.
She picked up a random stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never again.
You talking about that reminds me of this story that Chow told me once, like long time ago. I think we were still in high school.
Yeah.
Because he was still hanging out with James, his best friend, and
His bestie.
Yeah, his bestie. And one night they were out. You know, they went out to go hang out or whatever, whatnot. And then they were driving home or whatever, and they did the same thing that you did. They saw a lady who was like trying to flag somebody down to like give her a ride. So they decided to be, nice people, and they gave this lady a ride. And they asked her, like, okay, where are you going? And she's like, yeah, this place and this place or whatever. And she was quiet for a bit. And then all of a sudden, she just started, like, mumbling to herself.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah, so she started mumbling to herself and, like, starting to act a little crazy. So they kind of, they themselves were freaking out because they didn't know what she was going
Well, I'm
to do.
trying to think they're high school kids, so they're probably scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kids.
Yeah, so so James pulled over and kind of like let her out.
Oh.
Yeah, because they didn't know what was going on and what was going to happen. So yeah, he kind of just kicked her out of the car.
Oh.
He's like, "This is as far as we can take you." You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh.
then that was it.
How far did they go?
I think just like a couple miles.
Oh, mine was not a mile. Mine was just like down the street.
Oh.
So like, remember where church is, and if you go more towards north side, you cross like a bridge, and then there's like the hotel on the other side.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's where I dropped her off.
Oh.
But she wasn't weird like that. She wasn't mumbling. I mean, like, obviously she was kind of like disheveled looking.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think she told me that she had her kids back at the hotel, and that she had to go out and grab something. I forgot what it was, but she needed a ride back because I think she had a ride to there, but not right back. And so she's been walking this whole time. And so I'm just kind of like, okay. I don't know why I didn't have her sit in the front, but she sat in the back.
Yeah,
And so
that's
I was just kind
dangerous.
of like, the whole time I was kind of like driving, but then like had my hand on like something down there just to make sure if like something happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had something in my hand. But the whole time I'm just kind of like, God, if this is it, she's gonna she's gonna slit my throat. I don't know.
And take my car. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know if he had the crappy car at the time.
Which
But-
is sad because there probably are people out there struggling, but like because there's so many people that have bad intentions, and that's how they kill good people,
Yeah.
good-natured people who want to offer up a ride.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Just like
um,
James and Chow, they were just trying to be
Yeah.
nice.
yeah. And then I drove there, dropped her off, and she's like, thanks. You have no idea what it means to me that you were able to drop me back home or drop me
Back
here for my kids. And I'm like, you're welcome. I'm going to drive back to church now.
For sure. In your mind, you were like, God, why did you make me do this?
I'm like, God, I better be up there.
I know this better be my points up in there, up in that.
My name better
Yeah.
be written in that book.
And then I came back and I told Michael and them, they're like, why did you take her? Like, why didn't you get one of us to go with you? And I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking, okay? Like, it kind of just happened, and for some reason I couldn't talk my way out of it. And I
God
don't
was
know.
usually like, God was working through me. He said, yes, take her.
Yeah, for real. Because you said, because we all know Liz is pretty good at lying on her feet. Like, she's
Yeah.
pretty good.
She's
like, if I don't
know,
want to
God
go,
took over.
yeah, if I don't want to be there, then yeah, usually I'm like really good at lying. But for some reason that morning,
That's why I said, I was like, dang.
It's because you were at church.
Yeah.
You couldn't lie because
Yeah.
you were at church.
It's like that one random people that came into the church. I forgot who brought them
It was Dad.
in.
What?
The ones
I
that
don't
came
remember.
and, like, asked for money.
Yeah,
It was
like that.
Dad. It's always Dad.
It's
Because
always Dad and Mitchell.
yeah,
So you brought people in? Like
yeah, I
homeless
think they were
people?
asking. I don't think they're homeless. I think they were just like
just
younger
ask-
people, and they were asking
asking
for like
for
money
money.
or whatever. And then for some reason, Dad brought them inside the church
And they wouldn't, like, want to leave or something like that.
they,
a little bit. They kind of hung around too long,
Oh.
even though we said no. We had no money. They hung around a little too long,
Mm.
and so after
and
they
their
left,
stories weren't straight to me.
yeah, it was just off. Something was off.
Yeah.
And then they left, and then we were kind of like, Dad, don't bring people in because now they can see what we have, what's in here.
Yeah, they could have been scoping the
Yeah.
place.
Because we have a lot of.
That's not the first time that they came in. They came.
Oh yeah,
back a
Long.
couple times.
Yeah, Long said that they've been there before, asking for the same thing, kind of thing. And so I'm just kind of like,
Is this how we're going down?
this is it.
Listen, I fight a lot. Like, if I don't want to die, I'm just telling you right now,
Mm-hmm.
I will fight for my life. Bring on my helicopter that your boy does.
That's like my that one algebra teacher where I think he said it was like in the winter, and he was, I think, getting gas that morning, and then I think a guy asked him to like give him a ride because it was cold, and I think it was like snowing,
Oh,
Oh.
I hate when people do that.
and then he's like, okay, but just letting you know, I open carry, just letting you
Oh.
know, and then he's like, oh, okay, and so he drove the guy to wherever he needed to go.
I open carry the whole time.
No, you cannot do that.
I'm just kidding. The whole time.
Because he said he was kind of sketchy, but so he's like, just so you know, I open carry, so if something goes wrong,
Mm-hmm.
I have a gun, just letting you know.
Oh.
So yeah, he's like, okay. The guy kind of was scared, but then he took him to wherever he needed to go.
I just hang on. I just want to point out that these aren't technically sociopaths or
Oh,
or
we're just-
psychopaths
no, it was
that
just-
we're meeting.
We're
Yeah.
just talking about our
A crazy-
encounters
yeah.
with people we don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So these
Yeah.
people are not like
Yes,
the definition
yes,
of it.
yes.
So
No.
Yeah.
yeah, we're not that. What's that word? Shallow to think that or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
We're just
No.
going off topic.
Yeah.
We're going
As
off
usual.
tangent. Like, yeah.
Like
normal.
always.
yeah.
But no, at Walmart, a girl tried to pull that with me. She tried
Oh.
to pull the whole, can you give me a ride? I have $20. I'll pay you to take me downtown or down
That
somewhere.
sounds like you were almost human trafficked, honey.
I know. That's why I was like, okay, the first time I did it to that one lady, and I'm not risking my life anymore.
Oh, you were like, God, that's it. I did my deed.
I did my good deed years ago, okay?
Yeah.
So she was trying to do that to me, and I was like, no. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't give you a ride. And she's like, come on, I'll pay you. You just got to take me here and drop me off. And then I was like, have you talked to an officer? And she's like, yeah, but he told me to take the bus. And I'm like, well, then take the bus.
Like, here,
It's like you have the money.
Yeah,
I'll look
take
up the
the bus.
taxi number so you can call taxi.
And so I was like, do you want me to call an Uber for you? I'll call an Uber. I'll pay
The Uber.
that way, the Uber, and you can go. And she's like, but I mean, you're here. We're both girls. And then I was
that's
kind of
almost
like,
human traffic.
yeah. And so I was like, let's go inside and talk to an officer. And she's like, and then the officer came out and he's like, I told you, go ride the dang bus.
Oh, at least he came out.
Yeah. And so I was like,
He probably was eyeballing her.
bye.
After.
Just walked off. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I gave you so many options and you still said no.
So that's fishy.
Yes,
Yeah, they want.
go.
That's actually how they've been trafficking girls,
Yeah.
going to random
Using-
stores, and they
using
notice that you're
girls.
alone, and
Yeah.
then they'll use other girls
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I will call a cop to come and, escort you. Or an Uber, yes. But I'm not going to take you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, you're almost trafficked.
I know. So I'm just kind of like, no. I did my good deed with God already. Never again.
Yeah, that's why whenever I'm out by myself, I try not to make eye contact with anybody.
Especially the ones that just stand up by the street.
Yeah.
I don't make eye contact, but
They
I
just
gotta
come
see
up
my
to me.
look at my
Yeah.
surroundings.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like, I'm
that's
scared.
what I do. Like before
Yeah.
I head out of the store, I kind of just eyeball the parking lot, and then whenever I go, I just look straight ahead and like only at my car, and don't make contact with anybody. But I still have like my peripheral visions going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I have my keys in my hand.
Me too. I'm like, I Wolverine it. Sometimes.
It's also sad that we have to do that.
Or I like
In
flip
this world, yeah.
my car key, because you know how it flips. So I'll flip it out and I'll hold it like a freaking dagger. Like, you better not come at me, bro. I'm ready to lunge at you.
Yeah, I either have my keys or my phone out in my hand, so people know that
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm
not.
ready to hit my power button 5 times for emergency.
I just
You know.
feel like it's your luck list to where you're ready to lunge at someone, and they were like, "Miss, you dropped something."
Right in the throat.
Yeah, they were like, "Ah!"
All I think of is Miss Granny, where she had the freaking frozen fish in her hand.
Yeah.
Who?
Miss Granny, when she's walking in the dark aisle, and then the main guy is all like walking behind her, and she's like she's in her granny self personality, but she's in her young.
Oh,
Because he was scouting her because he liked the way she sang.
Oh,
And
yeah.
So he followed her. And
Oh.
so she got scared. So she took out a frozen fish.
And she's all like, "What are you doing?" Like acting like it's a sword or something.
That would happen to Liz though.
Cold
Like,
granny
Miss, you
self,
dropped
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And they were like, because you hit them in the jugular.
Yeah.
We're like, oh shit, let me
Yeah.
call the ambulance.
That's crazy. Yeah, luckily I have not ran into anybody like that in a long time.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
I made sure when I was at Walmart, I made sure I was standing in the entrance where people were.
Where the cameras are right there,
Yeah.
too.
So I was like,
Yeah.
I made sure to stand, where you get the carts and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So I made sure to stand there.
While talking to her?
While talking to her. And I was
That's good.
like,
The fact that she went up to the front like that, then that obviously meant she.
Well, that just means that she tried to go inside, and the cop was like, no, and then left, making the
Coco.
cop thinking that
Yeah.
she went to go get a bus, but instead encountered you.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to die today.
Dang, you got some stroke of luck, Liz.
I know. I'm just like,
running these people.
no.
That just reminded me of this one encounter I had with a stranger, and I was by the gas station by church too. I don't know what I was doing. It must have been a Wednesday night. I had to go stop and get gas or do something. I think I went and got gas. Oh, I think I was probably waiting for someone, but it was with my old beat up red car, my red Toyota. The one where the windows and the door handles are freaking broken.
You lost
that
your tires, or they stole
They stole your tires.
Yes. Yes, I have the worst luck with that car. And it was nighttime, and that was when my window was broken, and someone was knocking on my window, and she was like, roll down your window. And I was like, it's broken. Like, so I'm not lying. And I'm like, it's literally broken. And she's like, come on, open the window. And I was like, it's broken. It really is broken. And then she just walked away, and I'm like, thank God my windows are broken. 'Cause she was getting mad. She was like, open the window. And I'm like, it's broken. Like, it really is broken. Look.
That's what you should say. I don't know you, ho. Go away.
Yeah.
Let go of my purse.
I don't know you.
For real, man. But yes, so like ladies, if you're sitting in your car, make sure your car is locked.
The thing with my car, though.
Yes, your car, I hate it.
I hate it. Like, once you go into park, it unlocks. And I'm like...
And you
Mine-
can't lock it.
Yeah.
Mine
I
does
can't
that,
help it.
but
Yeah,
mine
I
has
noticed that. I
option
was
to
like,
lock.
why is it not locking?
I don't know. It does that. Once you go into park, it unlocks everything. So whenever I go to, like, work or something, I'm always, like... manually locking
Oh,
in my
mine
car.
unlocks too.
Yeah.
But like you have to manually lock them all
because
in.
her
Well,
thing doesn't
yeah, I think my
lock
thing
all
doesn't-
the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I think my
noticed
little
that.
door thingy is
Bro,
busted.
you gotta get that fixed.
Yeah.
Cause I kept pressing that
Yeah.
earlier this week when we were together. I kept pressing it, and I was like, "Is this broken?"
Yeah, I think it's broken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's what I make it a habit now when I park. Since all of my doors unlock, I immediately lock it. But I try not to stay in the car too long, because that's not a good safety thing to do. Is if you're in your car too long after you park, you are an easy target. Yeah.
Yeah. So crazy stories. So
It's funny how you say don't wait in your car for so long. When I worked at the library, I would always get there too early, like 10 minutes early or whatever, and I don't have the key to open the door because I was just a part-timer. And I didn't like going up there and then having to call campus police to come unlock it for me. So I would just sit in my car until it was 9 o'clock. And then I would walk up there and hopefully one of the full-timers is already there to unlock it. So what I would do is I would stay in my car with my doors locked, but I would leave my car on. And I would just sit there and be like on my phone or talking to Chow on the phone or whatever. And yeah, I would just sit there in the car and just kind of keep my eye out and stuff like that because the parking lot's pretty empty, like on Saturdays.
Yeah, it
mornings.
is.
So I just sit there and I'm like always looking around
yeah.
with my doors locked.
This is why we have safety issues, or at least for me, where I'm always like, I have to be safe. I'm constant like, am I safe?
Yeah.
It's trauma.
From you living by yourself, that's why.
Yeah, living by myself and all that crap that's happened. I'm just kind of like, no.
Yeah, no thanks.
But yeah.
But yeah, this that ends my episodes about what is it? Psychopaths versus sociopaths. Let's see. If you have any what do you call it? Dang it. Experience. Sorry, about either of these things, or if you have questions or anything, just give us a shout down below in the comments. If you have stories, we would love to hear your stories about like what we experienced with, random people or about psychopaths or sociopaths. So we would like to know. We would like to hear from you. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.